Good morning. Thank you for joining us for our virtual annual meeting. I'm James Tanneberger, South Central Indiana REMC's President and CEO. Before I begin, I would like to thank you, our members. We understand that this year, especially these last few months, brought generational challenges to our service territory, with two of our worst storms ever causing damage and requiring long, hazardous, and sometimes frustrating restoration efforts. We are here to serve you through situations like this, and we want to see our members restored as soon and as safely as possible. We appreciate your patience as we overcame challenges identified by the magnitude of these damaging storms, and as we are now seeking better solutions to improve the reliability while keeping rates stable. Our simple internal mission statement is to improve the lives of our members, and we will keep pursuing that mission daily. Now, let me introduce our Chairman of the Board, Bruce Hamlin. He will officially call the meeting to order.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for the 84th Annual Members Meeting. At this time, I call the meeting to order and will deliver the invocation. Gracious Lord, you have entrusted the task of governing this organization to us. Please guide us in our service and guide our hearts as we make decisions today. We offer ourselves to you today and give you this business, our members, and our workforce to your gracious will. Today we seek clarity in our thinking and understanding, in our hearts to listen to one another. In our voting, give us wisdom and integrity. Above all else, we seek your will to be done in our lives. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. At this time, I would like members, staff, and directors to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to recognize and thank all military veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, and educators. Thank you for your service. I'm going to turn it over to South Central Indiana REMC attorney Michael Schultz to provide the official notice of this meeting and mailing certificate.
Good morning. We have 4,853 votes from members, which constitutes the quorum necessary to conduct business. In accordance with the cooperative's bylaws, the Secretary has certified that an official notice of this annual meeting was deposited and mailed by first-class mail to 29,777 members on August 25th, 2023. Bruce?
Thanks, Michael. Members of the cooperative were asked to approve the minutes of the 2022 annual meeting on the online and mail-in ballot. A majority vote to approve the minutes was received and recorded by the September 20th deadline. The minutes stand approved by the membership. At the end of the meeting, we will list the winners of the $100 bill credit drawing on the annual meeting page on our website, sciremc.com. All members who voted in this year's director election by the deadline were entered. I want to thank James and our team for their work and accomplishments over the last year. James will now provide a business update.
Thank you, Bruce. Electric cooperatives were formed by local farmers and neighbors who came together with the mission of providing much-needed electricity to rural areas. However, the purpose of that mission was about more than just electricity. It was about improving the lives and economy in their local communities. South Central Indiana REMC was dedicated to serving the best interests of our local membership then, and it remains our focus today. In addition to being located in your area, those who are employed by the cooperative are also local. They are your neighbors and friends and are not just overseeing the business, but receiving the service from the cooperative as well. SCI REMC is made up of 9 districts, where you, the member consumer, elect a representative in each district. Those representatives then sit on a board of directors that guides the business in our mission to provide safe, reliable, and affordable electricity. And most importantly, they're there to represent your best interests in the delivery of electricity to your homes, farms, and businesses. The employees working for your cooperative also live in your communities. When you call or stop in for service or have questions, you will speak with talented representatives who know the area and understand your concerns, because most are co-op members just like you. The men and women who identify the locations of outages and work to get your power back on are also local. They are family or friends who leave their homes in the middle of the night because they know the importance of electricity in your lives, because it affects them too. We have had more than our fair share of weather events over the past year. Most recently, on June 29th, SCI REMC suffered the largest outage in our history as hurricane-force winds hit every inch of our nearly 1,000 square mile territory over a 45-minute period. In addition, other neighboring electric cooperatives and other providers also suffered significant damage in historic outage numbers from this 200-mile wide weather phenomenon known as a derecho. This was the second event this year that set historical records for us in terms of members without power. SCI REMC's territory is unique in Indiana in that it is 65% forest, making it the most forested system in the state, and it also has some of the roughest terrain. Pair those two with the same unpredictable Indiana weather that the rest of the providers face, and we have a recipe for reliability challenges. We have focused on reliability over the last 5 years with a reliability improvement plan, and SCI REMC has made significant progress in addressing some of our most problematic electric lines. During that time, we spent $26 million on capital improvements to convert our worst-performing overhead lines to underground. We also installed many new services underground instead of overhead. We worked with 7 different new developments representing over 1,000 homes, all installed underground. In addition, we removed 13,243 trees from right-of-ways in surrounding areas. But the only answer to completely improve reliability and eliminate long outages and devastating damage during major storms is to put our electric lines underground. Placing all of SCI REMC's lines underground will cost an estimated $400 million. The challenge is to accomplish this in a reasonable amount of time while also keeping rates stable. Rate stability is one of our key goals, so it must be done without raising rates. That will be a difficult task unless we can find other ways to generate significant additional income. That means thinking outside the box and doing things beyond the scope of a traditional electric cooperative. We will share more about our pursuits in this area over the coming months and years. We spend every day focused on our internal mission statement to improve the lives of our members. And for our team, events like these major storms feel like a significant setback in those efforts. We will press forward and continue to improve our approach to handling difficult circumstances like these. And we hope that our members recognize the results of our efforts over time. SCI REMC continues the cooperative's mission to provide its members with vital services by celebrating its 10,000th internet subscriber this fall. We understand that fast, reliable internet is more of a necessity than a luxury these days. Members across our service territory, especially those in rural and more secluded areas, asked for a solution to their internet needs, and SCI REMC decided to deliver. SCI Fiber is on target to meet the goal of providing high-speed internet access to our membership by the end of 2023. And just as we began as a local initiative to deliver electricity to the rural areas of Indiana, and we continue that focus today, we are also keeping that local emphasis at the forefront when we look to our future as well. We have inquired and know you, the members, want the most affordable energy available with a guarantee of reliability. Additionally, many of you are interested in more environmentally friendly types of energy. We have taken that into account with Hoosier Energy, our bulk power supplier, and are continuing to diversify the generation portfolio to include coal, natural gas, landfill methane, wind, and solar. We are strong believers that the combination of all these resources is imperative to balancing reliability and affordability. It is through these programs and services that we remain focused on what is best for our local community, which is you, the member consumers. We are a cooperative established by you and for you to improve the quality of life here in Indiana. For that, we can all be proud. Thank you. Next, we would like to respond to some of our members' questions that you submitted to us. Question number 1. Before the fiber was rolled out, I remember the discussion about the idea of reducing or eliminating the membership fees from electricity bills. This was an idea that would potentially be possible due to the greatly increased revenue stream from fiber internet? Good question, thank you. So the basic question is, are we going to use revenues from fiber internet to have a positive impact on electric rates, specifically the member meter charge that we pay each month? Well, all members pay a monthly service charge, so everyone shares in the cost of operating and maintaining our electric system. So the basic service charge covers a portion of the cooperative's fixed expenses, some of which include equipment and materials needed to build and maintain power lines and administrative costs necessary to ensure power reliability. Cooperatives typically determine the amount of the basic service charge through a cost of service study. Each cooperative's circumstances are different. The amount of a cooperative's basic service charge can be affected by several factors, including the number of members, the size of the utility service territory, the amount of vegetation in the area served, etc. Since we started our fiber project, we have had many discussions on how the expenses and revenue could affect rates. Many factors have affected expenses over the last few years. We are continuing to look at these factors and constantly evaluating how these instances affect our rates. So with that said, as we get farther into the fiber project, and revenues come into that, so we're paying off the cost of putting those services in. And as we pay off that cost, and as we find other ways to utilize this asset that we've now built, this fiber asset, we can hopefully bring in some additional revenues that way. What we're always going to be doing is looking at the whole picture. So one of our key pillars, one of our number one things is financial strength. And we want to have financial strength so that we can be a better electric cooperative. So we're always going to weigh all these things. So one of our number one things under financial strength is also, one of our other pillars is member satisfaction. So for member satisfaction, we want to make sure that over time we keep our rates stable. So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking revenues from fiber, we'll be paying back the money that we spent to put the fiber project in, and then we'll be weighing all these things. Diversifying our revenue stream is certainly a good idea. So having fiber revenue in addition to electric revenue could help us make it through tough times on the electric side. And on the flip side, if we have a tough year on the fiber side, we have electric to balance us out. So it's all about helping make our financial model more stable so that we can keep rates stable. So in answer to your question, will we necessarily lower the monthly charge because of the fiber project? It's possible, but what we are going to do first is weigh all the factors. We're going to have third parties come in and help us, make sure that we're keeping a healthy company, and use all of that to keep our rates stable over a long period of time as all other costs are going up in our world. Thank you. Question number 2. How is SEI REMC taking advantage of new federal funding in the IIJA and IRA to transition to cheaper renewable energy? What new incentives will you provide to members to accelerate their electrification and encourage the transition to renewable energy and a resilient smart grid? Thank you for this question. So how are we going to handle renewables, and are we going to try to find some funding to help make this happen? SEI REMC and Hoosier Energy are actively exploring grant opportunities provided in both the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and the Inflation Reduction Act. Hoosier Energy has filed an application for a Department of Energy grant focused on improving resiliency using advanced energy storage, and Hoosier Energy has also joined the State of Indiana's Office of Energy Development in their application for competitive grant funding to improve grid resiliency with advanced technology and microgrid deployment throughout Indiana. Hoosier Energy is also evaluating opportunities within the Inflation Reduction Act's grant programs, including those focused on lowering utility-scale carbon emissions. Thank you for that question. Next, I would like to share a message that has been sent in by one of our members. Our member asks, please acknowledge the excellent work your line crews and your vegetation management teams do all year long in difficult weather conditions and at all hours of the day. We are blessed to have such talented and dedicated staff who perform this work every day. Thank you from a longtime member. Thank you for that compliment. We're very blessed to have the team that we have, and I can tell you that every member of our team cares about our members, and we all operate every day with the internal mission statement. It's a very simple internal mission statement. It's to improve the lives of our members. So with that, I'd like to say We're putting a lot of effort into trimming trees every year, so spending $4.5 to $5 million every year to trim trees. What we're learning is, over time, the trimming trees helps on an average day, and it helps with the average kind of smaller outages. One thing that is tough is whenever we have these really big storms, they tend to blow healthy trees from outside our right-of-way onto our line. And unfortunately, that's something that's going to be very difficult for us to ever stop without putting more of our electric lines underground. So that's why I talked earlier about our initiative over time to try to put more of our system underground. Because if we can get that done, we can eliminate those problems. Until we do that, we're always going to have these situations during major storms where large trees fall on lines that are out in the middle of areas where we may only have 2 or 3 homes hooked up. And the amount of time it takes to go remove those trees from the lines and get things put back up is often, that's time that you certainly would find unacceptable as things in your refrigerator and your freezer start to thaw out, and we recognize that. So we want to do everything we can to try to reduce the number of times that those happen over the 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10-year period. Thank you. Now, question number 3. Why are we not provided restoration times during outages? Well, the reason why we don't provide restoration times during major outages is oftentimes when we have these big storms, things are happening on such a large scale that so much information is coming into our systems that oftentimes it is very difficult to evaluate things accurately and give a time when things are going to be restored. Now, we've watched some of our neighboring providers, they make a really good effort at trying to put out times. And I think some of our members are actually seeing those other providers put out times for their membership. But one of the things we also notice is we kind of keep an eye on that too, and we recognize that those times are shifting over time, and they're actually having to change those because they're dealing with the same challenges we are. Oftentimes it is very difficult to give a restoration time, and so we're weighing, do we give a restoration time that may not be accurate and we have to change, or do we just not give a restoration time? So in these cases, we've chosen not to give a restoration time, and we hope that you understand why we do that, because we feel like no information is better than inaccurate information. But we're continuing to evaluate our systems and continuing to try to find better ways to actually give you good information. And so we're doing things like upgrading our mapping system, upgrading our outage map, so that you get information that's more timely, that's more accurate, that gives you a little bit better view into the area where you are, and gives you information that's more useful to you. We're taking the feedback that you're giving us, and we're improving our system. Thank you very much. Question number 4. Why do your trucks drive by my house during an outage and go somewhere else? The reason this happens is whenever we have a major storm and we know that we have significant damage across our system, what we typically do is we send out what we call bird dogs or damage assessors. Actually, first we send out damage assessors. And their job is to go identify the damage, what's there, and help us know what might be needed to fix that problem. So they're trying to drive around our system and get as much information as they can, as quickly and safely as they can. Then what typically happens is they report back to us. Then we put crews together to go out and address the problem. Well, sometimes those crews, the truck that's coming may not have everything they need to address the whole problem. So you might have a truck come out and replace the pole, but you may also need a crew to come bring new conductor and things like that to put the line back together. So even after someone does come out, you may have a truck come out and do some work, and then they may leave. And there may be a period of time before the next truck comes. And sometimes that's because we have to wait until we get the next phase of the work, the next truck that can handle that available, because they may be already working at someone else's location. So that's why sometimes we drive up to a site and then we leave. The other thing I guess I would like to address here is sometimes you're looking at something and you're like, okay, well, that's the cause of my outage. And the thing that I guess I would like to say there is sometimes that's true and sometimes it's not. Sometimes we recognize the cause of the outage locally, but we also know about something that's happening farther down the line. And as we're trying to restore these outages, what we have to do as a company is we have to identify where the biggest outage started and work our way back towards you. So oftentimes we have to first get the substation back online. So we get the substation back online, and then we might find another situation between the substation and you. So we have to fix that. And then we might find yet another and yet another. And we have to fix all of those, because until the lines are heated up to your home, to your residence, or outside your residence, fixing the problem at your home is not going to get your power back on. So we hope that you can trust us that in many occasions this sort of thing is happening. We also appreciate when you do let us know what's happening locally, because that information is helpful to us. Once we get the rest of the situation restored, we know if you've got a problem at your home that you know about, we can then use that information to restore you. Thank you. Question number 5. What is SCI doing to improve its system after the weather we've been experiencing this year? Well, as you know, we had some challenges. These were the worst outages we've ever had. And because of that, we had vast amounts of information coming into our systems. Some of it accurate, some of it inaccurate. So some of our systems that we normally use to send out information to you, we had to turn them off because we did not want to send a bunch of inaccurate information to you. So one of the things that we've done is we've updated our TextPower app, which many of you I know find valuable because it gives you good information during outages and it allows you to interact with us. And so that was one piece that during our major outage, one of the pieces that didn't function as well as it normally does. We weren't able to get that feedback from you, and we weren't able to update you like we normally do. The other thing is our outage map. Since the last major storm, we've updated our outage map, and I would encourage you to go take a look at it. We think it's an improvement over what we've had. So those are some of the system things that we've done. We've got some things coming up this year. We're budgeting money to put in an automated management system, which will actually use our fiber communications network that we've put in to control remotely devices that are out there on our electric system to open and close circuits to try to minimize outages. So we might have a 600-person outage that this system can help switch things around to maybe turn it into a 60-person outage or a 6-home outage before we even roll a truck out. So that system we're budgeting for and we'll be installing over this next year, and we'll be leveraging that fiber network that we put in for Smart Grid. So we'll be doing that. I talked to you a little bit about putting our lines underground. We have an initiative during this next 4-year period to put a 76-mile stretch of our territory, which is the worst stretch, underground. We think that that will be a good bang for our members' buck. If we can get that part put underground, that will significantly improve these longer term outages that we've had because of these big storms. So overall, we're taking the feedback you gave us. We're taking the experiences that we've had that, again, were generational experiences. We're learning from them. We're bolstering our systems so that our systems can handle the flow of information that happens during these major outages. And we believe that over time, you're going to notice a significant improvement. Thank you. So I believe that's the last question. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Bruce to continue the meeting. Thank you.
With no unfinished business or any new business to report, we will continue with the director election results. One of the ways you can participate as a cooperative member is by voting for your representatives each year. I want to thank the director candidates for running for election this year. Your willingness to serve the cooperative is appreciated. Now let's get the results. I'm going to turn it over to South Central Indiana REMC attorney Michael Schultz to report the election results.
For the 2023 SCI REMC election process, Survey and Ballot Services received and counted all ballots. There was a total of 3,439 online ballots and 1,451 mail-in votes. Now for the election results. Your elected board of directors are, for District 1, Mark Smith, and in District 5, Rex Franklin. Bruce will now introduce your SCI REMC Board of Directors.
The South Central Indiana REMC Board of Directors is proud to serve as your voice. We are dedicated to maintaining high standards of safety, reliability, and efficiency. We strive to be forward-thinking, responsible, and make decisions that best serve the membership. We appreciate the opportunity to serve you. The members of the Board of Directors by district are District 1, Mark Smith. District 2, Jerry Pfeiffer. District 3, Brad Shields. District 4, Lisa Prosser. District 5, Rex Franklin. District 6, Kenneth Sebastian. District 7, Bruce Hamlin. District 8, Donald Renner. The SCI REMC Board of Directors will form a committee to appoint a director for District 9. 1,000 members that voted online and 500 members that mailed their ballot will be randomly selected to receive a $15 bill credit on their October bill. We will post the winners of the $50, $100 annual meeting bill credit prizes on sciremc.com following the meeting. This concludes our meeting activities. Thank you for viewing and celebrating 84 years of rural cooperative electricity and 5 years of fiber. As a reminder, all annual meeting information will be available on our website, sciremc.com. The meeting is adjourned. Have a wonderful day.